XRP's price action has pushed up over 4% in the last 24 hours, in line with Bitcoin's most recent rally. In today's video, I'm going to be addressing the technical analysis on XRP, sharing my thoughts and opinions as to where I think the XRP price action is heading next. As I get into today's video, smash that like button if you're new, subscribe, and let's take a look at what's going on with XRP. So here we have XRP paired up with USDT. We're on the 1-hour Binance chart here, and well, I am a little concerned over what I'm seeing here in terms of this price action. Obviously, yesterday we were talking about the potential for a run towards 59.68 to 61.07, and that's still very much on the horizon here, but there is a little bit of concern. One, the pattern that I'm seeing here in terms of the price action is a rising wedge. A rising wedge pattern is unfortunately a bit of a bearish one. Okay, so we can see this coming in here. I'm just going to roughly draw in the rising wedge, as you can see, and this has a tendency to want to break on down. Now on the hourly chart, this is higher highs and higher lows for sure, and the overlapping nature of the candlesticks tells us that there isn't really a trend to the upside, and instead we're going to be starting to think about their bigger moves and pulls to the downside. Now all of this entire run comes as we saw Grayscale release the XRP Trust, right, and or the news around the XRP Trust, and that's been great news. We saw a great run to the upside, an immediate cooling off, and now unfortunately we don't have this trend supporting the move to the upside. Now of course things can change, and if we do get a breakout above 58.84, then that does change things. That allows us to kind of see, okay, there's the potential for this run to the upside here. But until then, unfortunately, this is looking quite unfortunate for XRP's price action. Now, there is a little bit of positivity to be seen here, as that we could potentially be looking at this through the lens of a diagonal-based pattern, and we get an overextension into a bigger run to the upside. Now, if we do see that, it does mean that we'll have a pullback, and this rising wedge will still be valid, and we'll have a little bit of a pull to the downside, maybe towards kind of the 50 EMA, 50 SMA. But we should not lose the swing low of 55.41. Losing that would break that idea and actually be a very bearish tell for XRP's price action. So the trading opportunities here for XRP are that we have two options, to go long or to go short. And really what you want to do is you want to wait for confirmation of that. So you have the ability to go long if we get a breakout above this, this range of 58.84. We'd put a reasonable tight stop loss and target out at least 1.5 on the risk reward ratio. So you'd have that ability to kind of go long right inside there. Alternatively, if I'm right about this rising wedge, this idea of a diagonal at best, then we should be thinking about the idea of a short position. For that, what we're going to be looking for is on these kind of like bearish candlestick patterns, bearish engulfing candlesticks, things like that, and go short on the market. Stop loss would put higher than the previous swing high, and we'll target out 1.5 on the risk reward ratio minimum, but I would also be looking at the 50 EMAs, 50 SMAs for a great area here. So two ways to kind of trade this one. Trading right now is a kind of, just a bit of a gamble. I'd wait for confirmation of one of those directions and then take it from there. So rising wedge here, unfortunately, is bearish. Now, the most bearish situation that we can see would be that actually we have a breakdown lower than the 200 hourly EMA. That would happen if we were to kind of see this local high right here, which I don't think is going to be the case. But if we do, then we will be targeting out lower than the 200 EMA at 54.67 to 53.9. And of course, that will be quite a bearish move, which we could, of course, short if we do see that one playing out. So lots of different kind of things going on with the price action. Now, if we bring in smart money concepts, you can see down here as well towards the 50 EMA, 50 SMA equilibrium. Equilibrium has been working as a support level. We saw that initially on Thursday, and we come back down and retested this yesterday. So it's doing a pretty decent job at holding a support when the 200 EMA is approaching that equilibrium area as well. At the moment, we do have a rather bullish structure since we had that break to the upside, giving us a weak high, strong low situation on smart money concepts. So again, it's all looking reasonably well, but the price action is giving me a little bit of cause for concern. If we take a look at the stochastic RSIs, you can see that they're overbought on the 1 hour, 4 hour, 8 hour, and daily timeframes, indicating that things are not in the best position and that basically buyers are exhausted. Okay, if we turn the stochastic off and bring on the relative strength index, you can also see that we're hovering in this upper area. This upper area is a bullish area to be, so we're not overly too concerned about that, but we do want to be aware that things can turn quite quickly in the crypto market. So we're still in the area of bullish momentum on the relative strength index, no divergence between the price action and the RSI. None of that is going on there, so that's a positive. If we take a look at the volume profiles, you can see here volumes have slightly increased over the last couple of of hours, but they have been kind of decreasing over here since we've been pushing up in this ascending wedge pattern. So the volumes are a little bit hit and miss depending on what kind of time frame you're looking at. The stochastic RSIs are telling us, though, that we're reaching upper areas. So there's opportunities to go short on the market. Now, if I am to be going short on the market, I am, of course, going to be using something like 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗏 or 𝗕𝗏𝗏. 𝗕𝗏𝗏 has some fantastic offers right now as well. 𝗕𝗏𝗏 has an exclusive deal for the cheeky crypto community where new members can claim up to $10,000 in future bonuses. And to claim, all you need to do is deposit and actively trade on the 𝗕𝗏𝗏 exchange. Now, here's a few details that you need to know. For example, you can kind of see on the infographic here, depending on how much you deposit and trade, you'll have different levels of bonuses. Starting at a $30 bonus for depositing $100 and trading $50,000 in volume, all the way through to $20,000 deposited and $35 million in volume, which is a $10,000 bonus. And obviously you can see all the various different levels in between. More details, of course, can be found using the link in the description down below, so go ahead and check that out. Trading volume is calculated based on taker volume only. Deposits are calculated by the amount transferred into the futures account and minus, of course, any transfers out of the futures account. Users must meet both the deposit and the trading volume requirements to receive the corresponding rewards and bonuses. But yeah, guys, check it out. I don't think you'll be disappointed. It's a huge potential bonus to your trading. So if you are trading, why not check out 𝗕𝗏𝗏? Links in the description down below. I don't think you'll regret it. Okay, so we could go short on the market using something like 𝗕𝗏𝗏, some fantastic sign-up bonuses there. I mean, this would be a great kind of idea. If we go short, just hypothetically at the point of recording today's video, let's say 57.72, stop loss above 59.01, we could target out down here on the 1.5 risk-reward ratio at 55.78, and that could potentially be quite good. It means that we would obviously still be in that idea of a bullish movement, and so we don't have to kind of break out of that kind of structure, but it does indicate that we will be a bit of cooling off going on, testing out that previous area of resistance come support at 55.22 to 56 cents. So there's some opportunities for XRP's price action, but I am concerned at the moment on the smaller time frame. If we take this up though to a daily time frame, that concern isn't as bad. And so as we can kind of see here, we've been tracking this idea of a run towards 75 to 85 cents. Now, I don't think that we've started that run just yet. And initially, we were looking for 53 cents. We obviously came down. We hit those targets. And then I was saying we were looking for an additional kind of drop of basically between kind of 48 to 51 cents. That's no longer valid because of this run to the upside. But it doesn't necessarily mean that we are going to see a bit of a freak drop before we get into that 75 to 85 cent run. We still remain in the bullish structure, as I've been talking about for a while. None of that has changed, right? We still remain very bullish here on XRP on the daily time frame, but we have to consider the fact that the momentum is not supporting the idea of a continued run to the upside. Although we did get closed positions above the 200 EMA, the 50 EMA, and yesterday we got a closed position above the 50 SMA, and today's candle is looking okay as well, I am really cautious that we are still in lower high territory and higher low territory. This kind of triangular wedge pattern is still a bit of a concern. Now, if I go ahead and just adjust our trend line to take into consideration some of these most recent wicks that we've seen, and we can kind of take into consideration the lows as well, that we still might be on track for a bit of a move back towards 51 cents. Okay, so nothing tells me that we're completely out of the woods just yet. And with everything happening next week in terms of the Federal Reserve's interest rate cuts, the expectation here is that we do not go up into a higher high on the daily time frame. Instead, we move back down, and we maybe come down quite aggressively, still setting a higher low on the daily time frame, because we'd have to drop down lower than our previous wick low, which would be 43.19. So we don't necessarily think that's likely to happen, but we could still move down quite aggressively, maybe even 45 cents before we get into that next 75 to 85 cent run. Our momentum on this daily time frame really is not supporting the idea of 75 to 85 cents right now, but I do think it is something that is going to be coming in the coming weeks and months. Okay, so that breakout is coming. I just don't think it's going to happen this week or next week, for example. If we go ahead and turn that off and bring on the divergence indicator here, you can see that the divergence indicator has flagged on many occasions over the last few weeks that we've seen here bearish divergence, hidden bearish divergence. And if the price action can rally up any further, we might find ourselves with more bearish divergence being seen here. So we want to be really quite clear that the market doesn't appear to want to have this breakout just yet in terms of 75 to 85 cents. And we do, first of all, I think the market wants to see a bit of a cooling off and a bit of a pull to the downside beforehand. Of course, I would love to be wrong on that. I hold a pretty reasonable amount of XRP, so I'd love it to kind of rally straight up to 75 to 85 cents. I just don't think that's really the most probable scenario. I think the most probable scenario is potentially a bit of a cooling off with the rest of the market in line with the Federal Reserve interest rate cuts that we've been talking about for quite some time, and the expectation will be to potentially come down again, losing maybe even 50 cents during that moment of volatility. Again, not the ideal situation that we want to talk about, but something that I think is highly probable. We obviously have moved up quite nicely so far. We have seen a 17% run since we had the low on the 6th of September. But for the most part, yeah, we've seen pretty good growth. We've closed above all these kind of key levels, but I'm just not confident that we're going to be rallying up to 75 to 85 cents right now. But of course, I could be wrong, and therefore it's important to also get your opinions. What do you think of the price action of XRP on the daily time frame, and where do you think the next big move is likely to be? Let us know in the comments down below, or join us in our free Discord server. We'd love to hear from you. And if you haven't done so already, guys, check this video out right here. It's not one you're going to want to miss.